We all love a good "I told you so" moment, but what if chasing that feeling is actually holding us back? Turns out letting go of the need to always be right can open the door to a lot more joy. Our next guest knows a thing or two about it. She's a speaker, author, and host of Good Morning Joy. Let's welcome Shari Alyse. Hello, Shari.
Hello, Desiree.
Hi.
So great to be here with you.
Yes, happy to have you on. Okay, I really like this topic. So, you yourself, you've built a platform on joy, connection, and authenticity. So why do you say that being wrong is actually the secret to real connection?
I know immediately when I say being wrong, everyone's like, what? Right, exactly. And I get that because I used to be, well, I'm now, the self-proclaimed queen of being right. So it was always something I prided myself on.
Yeah.
And what I found was that the more and more that I tried to be right or always had to prove myself, you start to lose friends, you alienate coworkers, that kind of thing. And in our society today, I think people really crave, we crave connection.
Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to fully be present with somebody and not always trying to prove ourselves, that creates a connection. And in that lies joy.
So, and you kind of hinted at it. We all know someone who kind of just won't budge. They always think, hey, I'm right, and that's it. And maybe sometimes we ourselves are even that person. So what's the real cost of clinging to always being right?
It costs all of us so much. It costs us in our communities, in our families, in our workplace. Families alone, there's arguments over, who has the best stuffing recipe at Thanksgiving. And what it does is it's fracturing our relationships and it's really causing a disconnection within families. And then, we can see in our nation, there's a great political divide, right? Everybody's fighting to be right, and that causes division. And then even in our workplace, it distances us from not only our coworkers, but the goal that we all have at that job. So there's so many things that it's keeping us from, and most of that is really joy.
All right, so we got to be understanding of that. So why are we so afraid of admitting we're wrong?
That goes back to what I call childhood trauma, and it's the trauma of failure. When we first turned in that spelling test and we were certain that we spelled elephant right.
Yes.
And then the teacher hands it back to us and it looks like a crime scene. Those
the
red
marks.
Yeah, all over it. And in that moment though, we've got that voice that's like, being wrong is dangerous.
Yeah.
And also our ego at play, we feel less than. There's so many reasons why we hold on to being right and don't want to be wrong. And so it's normal, but we can work around that.
All right, so so let's say we want to get better at this. We want to work around it like you're saying. How do we start embracing being wrong?
First is this idea of stop trying to have to prove ourselves, right? Instead of always trying to prove that we know more, talk to someone and say, tell me more. So be curious. Be curious about other people. It also makes you people's favorite person too.
Yeah.
People love to talk about themselves. So the more we can explore and really ask people questions, we actually learn things. The next is reframe failure. So I've been great at rebranding failure for myself. And it really is about growth. We hear that every time, we fail at something, we can also learn. And so I make sure that there is success in every single failure. Fail stands for all I've learned.
Ooh,
and then the last one is really about, zooming out like Google Earth and seeing how really tiny our problems are.
Yes.
So taking a long view. Is this really going to matter in 5 years? Is this really going to matter in 5 days? Or are your relationships more important than saying, I told you so?
Right. And I've always appreciated when someone can say that they're wrong because it just makes them more human.
Yes.
So you're kind of like, okay, we don't always have to be perfect all the time. So just admitting, hey, I messed up, or, oh, I got this wrong. It just makes you more human.
All the time.
Yeah.
People just open up and then people feel better about themselves too. And it just creates a deeper connection.
Yeah. We need more of that. So your show, Good Morning Joy, is all about positivity and meaningful conversations. How does this idea of embracing being wrong show up in the conversations you have on your show?
Well, every time you see personal growth or transformation in somebody, it comes from this place where they had to finally admit to themselves that they didn't know what they were doing, that they made a mistake, that they didn't know it all. And once we do that, we open up that space within us for growth. And so it's always so amazing to hear their stories. And it's like the one through line that I always see that, oh, on the other side of success is that place where you finally go, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly. And sometimes
Yeah.
people, like, again, they appreciate that. They're like, us neither. We're so glad you said something because we thought we had to pretend all along.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Always a pleasure. I'm so happy we had you on the show today, Shari. We
me
appreciate
too.
your time.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. You can find out more about Shari by heading to ShariAlyse.com.